There's a machine inside you, and it switches on the moment you stand near a dead body. You've felt it. At a funeral, looking down at someone you loved who seems only asleep, and feeling, underneath the grief, an urge you'd never say out loud. The urge to step back, to not touch the hand. That feeling isn't disrespect, and it's not weakness. It's one of the oldest things you carry. Older than grief, older than language, older than your species. And for 2 million years, that instinct to flee has been at war with something that pushes back just as hard, the part of you that refuses to leave the people you love behind, even when they're dead. This is the story of what our ancestors did with their dead. By the end, you'll understand the real reason that you today still can't walk away from a body you loved. Start with the urge to step back, because that one comes first, and it comes from a dark place. To your body, a dead human isn't a person. It's a problem. A corpse is one of the most dangerous objects in the ancient world. Within hours, it becomes a factory. Bacteria, decay, the things that spread through a sleeping group and kill everyone who stays too close. To a small band lying shoulder to shoulder in a cave, one body left in the middle of the camp could end the entire bloodline. So evolution's answer was brutal and simple. It built revulsion directly into you. The smell, the recoil, the crawl of the skin. That's your body screaming one word. Away. Scientists have a name for this. They call it the behavioral immune system. A researcher named Valerie Curtis spent a career proving that disgust isn't manners. It's defense. A second immune system made not of cells, but of behavior that fights infection by making you flee it before it can ever touch you. In plain terms, your disgust is your body treating the dead as poison. You felt this without ever putting words to it. The way a room with a body in it feels physically wrong, as if the air itself has changed. And here's what doesn't make sense. Burying someone is the exact opposite of running away. To dig a grave, you have to walk toward the body, touch it, lift it, stay with the one thing every nerve in you is screaming at you to escape. So every grave ever dug is a record of someone doing the hardest thing their biology allowed, overriding that scream and choosing to stay. So who was the first to stay? To find them, you have to go to a cave in northern Spain and look down a hole in the floor. The hole has a name. Sima de los Huesos, the pit of bones. It sits at the bottom of a cave system in the Atapuerca Mountains, down a vertical shaft that drops 13 meters into total darkness, the height of a 4-story building, straight down. At the bottom, archaeologists found bodies. Not one, not two, at least 28 of them. Almost 6,500 bones belonging to 28 men, women, and children who died 430,000 years ago, long before our own species existed. And here's the strange part. The bodies went in whole. A researcher named Sala showed that these people weren't dragged there by predators and didn't stumble in by accident. They were carried deliberately and lowered into that shaft, intact, one after another, across many years. The pit wasn't a trap. It was a destination. Picture it. Again and again, someone took the trouble to lift a dead body, move it through the cave in the dark, and place it into the earth. When the easy thing, the safe thing, the thing every instinct in them was demanding, was to leave it where it lay. Then there's the object. Among 6,500 bones and pale, ordinary stone, there was exactly one tool, a single handaxe shaped from beautiful red quartzite, the only one of its kind in the whole pit. The team nicknamed it Excalibur. Many of them believe it was placed there on purpose, the oldest funeral offering we've ever found. One more detail. One of the skulls, the one they call number 17, has 2 holes punched into it, in the same place, at the same angle. Not a fall. Not an animal. The oldest murder we can still see. 430,000 years ago, someone was killed by their own kind, and someone else refused to leave the body in the open. Because the next refusal came from something that shouldn't have been capable of it at all. Deep inside a cave system in South Africa, through gaps so narrow you have to crawl through them sideways, lie the bones of a creature called Homo Naledi. And Naledi is a problem for almost everything we like to believe about ourselves. Its brain was tiny, about 1/3 the size of yours, small enough to cup in one hand. By every assumption we had, it shouldn't have been able to think about death at all. And yet, a team led by Berger found Naledi's dead, again and again, in the deepest, darkest, most unreachable corner of that cave, 250,000 years ago. Bodies that look placed, carried, in complete darkness by firelight, into the ground. To reach that chamber, you have to pass through a gap so narrow that the scientists excavating it could only send their slightest team members down, one at a time, in the pitch dark. Whatever drove Naledi to carry their dead into that place, it was strong enough to be worth risking death for. It's fiercely argued over. Many scientists think Berger has reached too far, but the bones are there, in a place no body arrives at by accident, and you don't end up in the hardest room on Earth to reach by falling. And then there are the Neanderthals, the ones we wrote off as brutes. In a cave called Shanidar, in the mountains of Iraq, a Neanderthal was laid in a shallow channel that had been deliberately dug deeper to receive him. In the 1950s, a researcher named Ralph Solecki found clumps of ancient pollen around another body here and announced something extraordinary, that Neanderthals had buried their dead on a bed of wildflowers. That part is still debated. The flowers may have been carried in by burrowing bees, not mourners. But here's what nobody debates. In 2020, another body was uncovered in that same cave, and the ground beneath it had been dug on purpose to make a place for the dead. Different brains, different species, the same refusal over and over. Something in our family tree kept choosing to stay, but none of it yet was love. For that, you have to go to a cave in Kenya. On the coast of Kenya, in a cave called Panga Yasaidi, scientists found a small stain in the ground, a patch of soil, slightly the wrong color. They almost walked past it, and inside, it was a child. 2, maybe 3 years old, curled onto one side, knees drawn up to the chest, exactly the way you'd lay down a sleeping toddler. The head was resting on something soft that has long since rotted away, a pillow, and the small body had been wrapped tightly in a shroud before it was lowered into a pit cut into the floor of that cave 78,000 years ago. The bones were so fragile they couldn't be lifted at all, so the team cut out the entire block of earth around the child, wrapped it in plaster, and carried the ground itself to a laboratory to be scanned, and when the image sharpened, they could see how the little body had settled and folded gently in on itself over time, the quiet signature of something that hadn't been dropped or dumped, but laid down, wrapped, and held. The team that found it, led by Maria Martinon Torres, published it as the oldest human burial in all of Africa. But that's not what they called it among themselves. They called it Mtoto. In Swahili, it simply means the child. Think about what that scene actually is. Somebody held a dead 2-year-old. Somebody chose the spot and dug the hole and wrapped the little body so that it wouldn't be cold or wouldn't be seen or wouldn't be alone, and then couldn't bring themselves to walk away from it. This is the moment the war is lost, or won. Because everything before this, the pit, the axe, the deepened grave, you could just about explain away as instinct or habit or fear of the smell. You can't explain away a pillow. You can't explain away tucking a child in for the very last time. That's not disgust. That's the exact opposite of disgust. That's grief, and it's at least 78,000 years old. And here's the part nobody tells you. You didn't leave that instinct behind in the cave. You're carrying both halves of that war, right now, inside you. The disgust never left. It's why you don't want to touch the hand at the funeral. It's why a part of you standing over the body quietly insists that this isn't them anymore, that the person is somehow gone and this is only the thing they left behind. But the other half is standing right beside it. It's why you go to the funeral at all, why you wash the body or sit with it through the night or keep the ashes on a shelf, why you can't throw away their toothbrush, why you keep a voicemail you know you'll never be able to play again. That's the same instinct that wrapped a 2-year-old in a shroud 78,000 years ago. The refusal, the staying. A funeral isn't a modern invention. It's the oldest compromise your species ever made, a truce between the part of you that knows a body is just chemistry and the part of you that'll never accept that someone you love could ever be just chemistry. And across 2 million years, in pit after pit, grave after grave, one side of that argument has been slowly, quietly winning. So the next time you feel that flicker of wrongness near the dead, don't be ashamed of it. It kept your ancestors alive. But notice what you do next. You stay anyway. You always stay. That's the most human thing about you. And it's the only reason that one day when it's your turn, someone will refuse to walk away from you.